Hello and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. On today's show, we'll hear from John LaRocchia of Laughter Saves Lives Foundation, which provides assistance to first responders in memory of 9/11. Then we'll turn the page to Renee Smith, the CEO and founder of the Independent Authors Book Expo. But first, this week marks the 22nd anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks. Essex County's Eagle Rock Reservation in West Orange is an overlook which offers solace and serenity to all who visit on that solemn day. Essex County Executive Joe DiVincenzo recognized that the site was a natural location for a permanent 9/11 memorial. Here to tell us more is the county executive. Joe, welcome to the show.
Welcome. You mentioned 22 years. It seems like it just happened yesterday. And what's nice about that is we always made a commitment here in Essex County that we will never forget what happened on that day, and that we will do everything in our power to make sure that is a part of history. And hopefully that will never ever happen again. But Eagle Rock Reservation, there's no question, was the perfect spot for it. That's where the people gathered that night at Eagle Rock. And when I was standing up there just watching what was going on, I knew that was the spot. So I came back the next day, met with my staff, and I said, listen, this is the site. We got to do it, and we got to get it done in 1 year because I have to go out and I have to raise all the money. And I don't want anybody ever to forget what happened there, because I had to go to corporations and stuff to raise it. And we raised about $1.2 million. We designed the memorial, and we got it done. And we got it done in 1 year, which is very special, is that we just didn't honor Essex County residents. We honored all 3,000. They have their names on the wall. And I thought that was the way to go, because New York at that particular time was taking their time to make sure whatever they did was the right thing. And I just wanted to make sure that we get it done as quickly as possible. And we did. And the memorials up there is for everyone.
And people flock every year. I mean, I took my 1-year-old daughter to see it, and it's a tradition that I want to start with her because I was one of those people that week back in 2001 that went to Eagle Rock Reservation because that was the closest, living in that area, that was the closest vantage point to New York City. And to just see it enveloped in smoke, and you could even smell what was in the air, I will never forget. And you did such a beautiful job in making sure generations after us will never forget. I know that you have a ceremony on 9/11 at the exact time. Tell us what that ceremony entails.
Listen, we start the ceremony promptly at 8 o'clock, and it goes approximately about right after about 9:14, 9:15. The program ends. Okay, and what we do is we have a number of speakers that speak. We have family members that speak, and when the time comes that we ring the bells when the first plane hit, and then when the second plane hit, and we have a lot of entertainment. We have music and stuff for the family members. It's a special day, and we've been doing it every year at the exact same time, and we're going to continue doing that because that was my commitment that I made to the people, is that we're going to make sure that at least we here in Essex County are never ever going to forget what happened there. The thing is, the people who've been involved in the first memorial that we did on first, those exact people, those key people are the ones who've been doing it every year together. So everybody knows what their part is, and we try to engage everybody to be part of it and involved. Like the Essex County residents, what we do is we call each of those names out individually. And we have people there, whether it's their family members, or whether it's our staff people, or whether it's elected officials, actually calling out the names. So we have a team that's been doing it for years, and we're going to make sure that this tradition keeps on.
Reflect on what you were doing that day as the president of the Freeholder Board.
I was going down to Atlantic City for a conference because I had to speak at one of these conventions. And what happened was I was halfway down the parkway. I think it was at exit 131. And I got a call from my daughter, who was very, very young at that particular time. And she called me. She says, Dad, a plane just crashed into the World Trade Center. And I said, no, no, no way that happened. And Dad, they're jumping out off the roof. I said, what? And then immediately I hung up and I start getting the calls and said, get back to Essex as quickly as possible, which I did. I turned the car around and went back there and we went to work because we had to make sure nobody knew exactly what more was going to happen besides the two towers being. We thought other areas could have been hit very, very hard also. So we had to make sure that we planned properly what we were doing.
And then in the days and weeks that followed, I know there was a huge Essex County contingency that went to Ground Zero to assist in the cleanup.
Yeah, we had a lot of people that, a lot of our fire departments, police departments send people over there to be able to do whatever they could do as far as helping out, which was very, very nice.
How did Essex County rise to the challenge of 9/11 and beyond?
Hopefully that will never ever happen again here, but we do have, they do have things where we alert different people, where we're able to contact other public safety officials and get people involved. My thing is to making sure that the people know exactly what's happening.
How can people learn more about Eagle Rock Reservation and everything happening in Essex County?
It's essexcounty.org, and they'll be able to reach out to me or my staff, and we can inform them exactly what's happening.
Joe, thank you so much for coming on here and taking a few moments to talk about your perspective on 9/11 and the amazing work that Essex County does in keeping its memory alive. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
John LaRocchia, a retired FDNY Hazmat 1 firefighter, was on site during September 11, 2001, and dedicated a foundation, Laughter Saves Lives, to the first responders who put themselves on the front line for our safety. Here to tell us more is John. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We just did a whole other interview off camera, but I'm excited for the audience to see what a personality you are. I know that this week is not an easy one for you. You were there on 9/11, lost a lot of friends, and
Yeah, it never is. It never is. As soon as the calendar turns September, all of a sudden you got this weight, on your shoulders, and you feel it, and you're walking through mud, and it's just a hard month, half a month to get through. I've done some cool things to remember the guys. We lost 19 in the house. I've helped run this ceremony called the Calling of the Names, where we read the names of anybody who helped out on 9/11 and has passed away during this year. It's held at the church a block away. That kind of helped me get through 9/11, having something to do like that.
different years bring about different emotions, I'm
Yeah,
sure. But
yeah,
we're here to talk about your foundation, Laughter Saves
yeah.
Lives, and how it began serving the New York, New Jersey area.
The guys that were lost on 9/11, okay, and continued to be lost, um, everybody puts them up on a pedestal, and they should be there. But when you look at individual guys, they were the guys coaching the little league teams. They were the guys doing all this fun stuff. The guys that made me laugh every time I worked with them. So after we went through all the funerals and memorials and tears, I said, man, what a great way to remember them through laughter, because that's what I would have wanted. I was supposed to work on 9/11. I have the writing list on the wall in my basement here. It has my name crossed out, and everybody that replaced us was lost. So I started the foundation as a way to remember them. We make people laugh in their name. We raise money for different charities, and we try to find individuals, responders, healthcare workers, veterans who are struggling due to a tragedy in their lives, right? Who are not in the spotlight. It's not something that's on the news, right? You always see something on the news, a fireman fell out of a building or whatever, and the money is rolling in, right? Well, these are guys that are not in the spotlight, that got hurt maybe 3 years ago and is still struggling. That's who we try to help.
And how do you help them?
We try to pay some of their bills. Um, I would love a car payment. I'll give you an example. Remember the Vegas shooting, the famous Vegas shooting? Okay, so I had just taught the Vegas Fire Department, about a month before. I was out there doing a class for Homeland Security. So I immediately called my point of contact and I said, listen, were any of your guys affected by the shooting? And he goes, John, one of our new guys was shot in the foot as he was helping people evacuate. He needs major foot surgery. He's going to be out of work for a while, no overtime. And if you know firefighters, they always work a side job, make a little extra money, right? Well, he couldn't work a side job. So I said, put me in touch with him. And I made 2 or 3 of his car payments. Okay. What I would love to do if we can get a major sponsor, are you listening out there, anybody? A major sponsor is I would like to say to that guy, listen, take care of your family. Don't stress. Get better. Give me 6 months of your mortgage, 6 months of your rent, and really leave a town after a show or write out a check and really make a difference to somebody so they can relax.
You're doing such beautiful work, and just speaking with you for these few minutes, I cannot imagine what you were like on stage.
I do 2 types of shows. We have the stand-up comedy Laughter Saves Lives comedy tour. Now we're starting a Heroes tour where we're trying to help comics who are firefighters, police officers, EMS, healthcare, and teachers. We're including teachers on the Heroes tour who do stand-up. So we do a regular stand-up show for 3 or 4 comics. And then every Wednesday night, I do a talk show titled Laughter Saves Lives on YouTube, Facebook, Strong Island Television. And basically, we open the show, me and another comic. No politics in big, bold letters. Interesting guest with a comedy slant and no politics. We want people to come on and go, hey, that was funny. That was interesting. So we'll talk, like there's 150 more important things we should open up the show with. We started 151, like sausage and peppers. Why green peppers? Red peppers are better. Stuff like that we talk about. We make people smile and laugh. And then we have somebody on who maybe runs a foundation or is a nurse on a helicopter or whatever, hero. And then we close with a stand-up comic just doing 10 minutes of funny.
What types of fundraisers and events does the foundation do?
But we don't only raise money for 9/11 victims. Most of our money is not for that. It's for different charities. We have supported an organization called Fight for Firefighters. They build ramps for disabled firefighters and their families for free. Like over a 2-day period, they bring 30 guys out and bang out a ramp for free. There's another organization that's also in Jersey and New York that we support. It's called General Needs LTD. Lonnie Sherman. They support homeless and needy veterans with basic needs: boots, socks, a mattress if they find them a home, pots and pans. And Lonnie brought me out once or twice, and I gave out boots to homeless or needy veterans. And it's amazing how they look you in the eyes and they say thank you. And you look back at them and you go, no, thank you. I shouldn't have to be doing this. I mean, thank you for your service. But they get excited over a pair of boots. It's amazing.
So 2 questions I have. One, during your shows, you bring on special guests. Who are they and how do you source them?
We try to use comics that have some service background, but it's also important for us to put on a good show. So we balance it with some headliners that have worked at Borgata, worked at Atlantic City, worked cruise ships. I'll headline some shows, but that's how we get our comics. And we're actually working on a docuseries. I have an LA-based production company who's pitching it soon, based on Laughter Saves Lives and the underground comedy circuit that we work. We're not working the theaters. We're not working the comedy clubs. We're in the Valley Firehouse. We're in the VFW hall. We're in the school. And interviewing some of these wonderful people, having some laughs with them, but interviewing these people who were there every weekend and 2 nights a week. We're coming in one day to do a comedy show and putting a spotlight on these great people.
You have a show coming up here in the Garden State on October 7th. Tell us all about that.
We're going to have a great time. Like I said, we do the show in memory of my guys. I come out up front. I go, we're going to have a great time. Maybe tell a quick funny story about one of my guys who was lost and say, tonight we're going to laugh in their name. Let's have fun. And that's it. I don't beat them over the head with 9/11 and make a big speech. I can't because I'll start to cry, and we don't need crying on a comedy show. So I'll just do a little up front, and boom, we're into the show. An hour and 45 minutes of funny. I have my buddy Rich Walker, who's hysterical. Sandy Ells from Jersey. She's on the show, one of my favorite comics. And I think I'm bringing a new guy, Alex Bradley, who that's another thing. I like to give newer comics who have a funny 5 to 10 minutes a shot on one of my shows because we have great audiences. And these new comics are always working the open mics. It's horrible audiences. And to see them light up on a stage with 200 people, I've done it at Gotham Comedy Club in Manhattan, put somebody on the show. We had Jerry Seinfeld show up on one of our shows.
Did
Just walked in
you?
the door. Just walked in the door and wanted to get up on stage.
Oh, how was that for you?
It was a lot of fun. So the audience loved it. Put it that way. The audience loved it.
Oh, how can they not? I mean, he is
Yeah.
the ultimate legend. Well,
Yeah.
and you are too. You are on your way to Jerry Seinfeld status, especially with
know what?
everything that you are doing. Oh, don't be
You
modest.
know what? I don't think I'm going to ever get to Jerry Steinfeld status. But let me say this. Every time I get on the stage, I have fun. And every time I get on the stage now, I'm doing it as a way to remember my guys. So how can it not be great? It's great. Making people laugh in memory of my guys. I mean, I really shouldn't be here. I was supposed to work that day. They replaced me. So I try to take each show as maybe this could be my last show on stage. I'm having fun tonight.
John, thank you for coming on today and giving us a few late moments here on Your New Jersey. Where can people find out more about you, to donate to the foundation, and to get their tickets for October 7th?
LaughterSavesLives.org. There's a donate button right there. If you want to test it out, you can. It only works with like $250 donations or more, but try it out. Try the button out.
All right, John, thank you so much, and we'll see you out in Jersey soon.
I will be there. Thank you so much for having me. Very kind of you.
The Independent Authors Book Experience and Gala is coming up on September 30th at Kean University. Renee Smith, the CEO and founder of the Independent Authors Book Experience, is here to tell us about the amazing authors this nonprofit features. Renee, I'm so happy to welcome you to the show. How are you?
I'm well, Lisa. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me on your show. I'm really excited.
Yes, and it's been a few years since we connected. We'll dive
Yes.
into that a little later on in this segment, but I want our audience to know, what is the Independent Authors Book Experience and your upcoming gala, which is new this year?
Yes. So, Independent Authors Book Experience, we're a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to promote and empower independent authors, thereby promoting literacy for all ages. And this year, we are celebrating 10 years of hosting our Independent Authors Book Expo. And in celebration of the expo, the 10th annual anniversary, we're hosting a gala where we're bringing together independent authors, people in the literary world, and really celebrating the authors and community supporters who have been with us for the last 10 years.
You are such a champion for independent authors here in the Garden State. I know that firsthand because I was part of one of your expos back in 2017. And why is that? Why do you take such an interest in what independent authors are doing?
I am an independent author. Let me just start there. And when I started, I did my first book in 2011. And I realized really quickly that there wasn't a venue or a space for independent authors. So it was very important for me to create such a space that was accessible and really gave them an opportunity to meet and greet other authors as well as a wider range of readers. Because usually, typically, on your own as an independent author, it's very difficult. It's costly to host events for yourself. So creating that space for authors was very important.
And I'm sure that everybody that participates is appreciative. And you're right, when you are an independent author, you take the role of a publishing house, right? So
Yes.
not only are you writing the book, but you're getting it edited and designed and bound and printed, and then you have to market the thing. And it could be
Which is
overwhelming.
huge. Yes, I think that is the biggest piece, the marketing piece. I tell people the easiest thing to do is write the book. marketing, getting it out there, getting your name out there, reaching that your unique audience is so key. So having a space where you have a large number of readers, people are interested in books, or can converge in one space, is that's what we try to do.
What do you do year round? What other events take place?
During the weeks, we have our Writers Cafe, where we have individuals, we meet on Zoom, and anyone who has a desire to write and get published, they join us, we work together, we critique, and it's a safe space to be for authors who have a desire to get published. And then we have our Author Speaks, which is our monthly author speaking. And we have 2 to 3 authors on every month, and each month is a different genre. And they come on and they talk about their book, they talk about the process, they talk about, their pain points, any tips and tricks that they have for anyone who would like to be a part of, who wants to be an author, and how they can do it as well. And also, we have a lot of opportunities on our website as well, as book spotlights, monthly spotlights, author directories, you name it. We're trying to make it a full, a one-stop shop for authors when they come to our website and they become a part of IABX.
What are you finding? What topics authors are writing about? What's hot right now?
Yeah, I'm finding that we have a lot of authors. They are doing a lot more children's books, and there are a lot more books with diversity, equity, and inclusion. There are a lot more self-help books, because you coming out of 2020, so many individuals went through so much, and they have so much to say about what they went through. So we are finding a lot more books on self-help, a lot more children's books, coping with uh, health. There's a lot of health and wellness. There's a lot of dealing with anxiety, dealing with diversity. So there is a lot. There are books on all genres are being explored, but at the same time, you're seeing a lot more of those books being written and published.
You also feature many Garden State authors on your website. How can you get featured as an author?
People come on and they select the month, because like I say, each month is a different genre, so they can select if they want to be a participant of whichever genre it is for that particular month. So say for instance, this month is April. If you're a poet and you have a poetry book, you may want to be featured this month, because we do share out the book on our social media platform, as well as our e-blast. So we do connect with readers and other authors, so people can connect with them and purchase their books. The awards. So since COVID, there was a lag, and we have to get back to that space. But with the awards, how it works is that the authors send in their books, and then we have a team of readers. So each book is actually read by 2 or 3 individuals in the group, and it's given a grade. So it's not like we say, oh, we like the cover or we like the author. The books are actually being read and scored by a team of readers, and then it's graded, and that's how we get our winners, then, if you will, for the different categories.
I was a recipient of one of your awards back in 2017 for my novel 10 Years Later, and I hope you decide to bring it back, because it really helps an author when you can tell people that you have an award-winning piece.
Yes, and I must say, your book was good. I did read your book, so I do kudos.
Thank you. I wish
So
I could write more. I have zero time to breathe, but writing that book was, and I hope if anybody watching this is thinking about writing a book, I will tell you, and Renee will probably tell you too, it is the most fun you will ever have. And it is the
Yes,
most
absolutely.
gratifying when it's finally done and in your hands, the most gratifying
Yes,
feeling. And I wish I can do more, but I think I gotta wait until
yes.
the kids are like in school.
You find the time. I have 3 boys, and well, they're grown now. My youngest is 16, so and my oldest is 22, and I have to remember my middle son, he's 20. So we do have that age gap, but people ask me if I sleep. I find when they're sleeping, I'm awake so I can do work, because someone's always calling me. If you know that the show with Stewie, where he says, "Mom, mommy, mom, mommy, 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 mom, mom." That's how I feel sometimes my kids are around. But I write children's books, and it's very important for me to share that the thought. I say I want to entertain, inform, and inspire students on a particular topic or idea. So I kind of find the time to do, every now and again, I come up with an idea and I really share that with children because it's so important to do that.
Renee, this was so much fun. I'm so happy we got to catch up here, of all places. Where can people find out more about you and the organization?
So if you'd like to find out about the organization, you can visit our website at www.iabx.org. And as I mentioned before, I am a children's book author. I write the Freddy series. So if you'd like to purchase any of my books, you can visit my website at www.reneesmith.com, and that's RENAEE Smith.com. And you can purchase my books there, or they're available on Amazon.com.
Renee, once again,
Thank you.
thank you so much for coming on here today.
Thank you, Lisa, for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.